women in Nigerian politics cannot be underrated, as they play a key role in the polity and also getting our leaders elected. Just this week, we witnessed the women of the ruling All Progressive Congress in Lagos stage a solidarity walk to push the Tinubu-Shettima ticket. However, the role of women goes beyond mobilizing support for party candidates, as they should be getting key appointments and more seats at the table. So as we witness low participation of women in both elective and appointive positions in Nigeria, a report by the Gender Strategy Advancement International has disclosed that women political participation in Nigeria falls below the world and Africa continental standards. According to the report, the national average of women's political participation in Nigeria remains at 6.7% in the elective and appointive position, which is said to be far below the global average of 22.5%, Africa regional average of 23.4%, and West Africa region sub-regional average of 15%. So joining us now on the Morning Show to discuss the politics of inclusion and empowerment is Senator Florence Giwa, former senator representing Cross River South Senatorial District of Cross River. So welcome to the show, man. It's a joy to have you. I mean, let's just go through it real quickly. I think the benchmark in Africa is Senegal. Senegal as a country has been able to do a lot as regards, getting women on the seat in politics. And they're not just even doing it for women, they're doing it for their own diaspora community. But why is it that the case keeps, going down in Nigeria? I mean, no real push as regards women in politics in this country. We've not had a female governor to even start with, correctly, except Virgie Etiaba, which was not elected. It was because of the debacle with Peter Obi that Dame Virgie Etiaba got in there.
Thank you for having me here. It's really most unfortunate, and I, at this stage of my political life, I feel really, really most embarrassed, in fact, not really fulfilled in view of the number of women that are actively involved in politics. In my state, for example, in my zone, since I finished as a senator, by the way, a senator is a senator for life, not former senator. We've not been able to produce another senator. But when I see women, excuse me, come out in their numbers, to show support, I feel so bad because, in my opinion, I just feel that it's unfair to bring out these women, for the purpose of, supporting candidates, for the purpose of dancing, for the purpose of celebrating people. And we have women who are very, very qualified in Nigeria. We have strong women. Personally, also, the women know that anyway, that I support the affirmative action. You understand? But with I would amend it to say that only as it covers political appointments, which is not enough, because as far as I'm concerned, it should be 50-50. Not even the 35% is not enough. Because that is the only area that you can manage inclusion, that political appointment. The way politics is today in Nigeria, you cannot implement 35% in elective position. And I also don't believe in it because it's not democratic. What I tell the women, even the upcoming women, is that if you know that you want to play politics, you have to go back to your constituency. You have to go and start endearing yourself to your people. You have to start preparing for election. And you have to go to the field to slug it out. But the problem with even going to the field to slug it out is that as a leader, I shouldn't be saying that, but I'm hoping that there will come a time when we have elections like we have in my time. I contested 4 elections and I won 4 elections. I doubt if I would have been able to win those 4 elections today, because politics has become a local thing where the government of the area virtually takes over. You understand? And if you are, I don't think politics shows political strength anymore at that level. Do you understand? It doesn't, because at my time it showed strength. And at that time, everybody came. So I had to contest. I wanted to go to House of Rep. I left Lagos. I went to my home. I went and fought it out in the field. I went to go to Constitutional Conference. I went and fought it out. I went to go to Senate twice. I went and fought it out and won. But today, the election process has, been so mismanaged. And then, of course, the issue of violence. Because once somebody has been earmarked to go, then the person has to fight for his life. So, you know, what I tell you, it's a situation where it's a no-win situation, except you're ready to slug it out. But again, the system may not allow you to slug it out. As the system, you know, as I was allowed in my time to slug it out. You understand? So these women don't have the opportunity. In my state today, I feel bad that I don't have a senator, you know, a female senator coming up. So it's and I feel very, very bad. You know, I really don't I don't do much of the women issues the way it is done. You understand? I'm not a fan or a supporter of the women issue. I just believe that every woman should be allowed, you understand, to go out there and struggle. If you say that allow 35% for women to win election, how do you carry that? Are you going to rig the election for the woman? You understand? If I'm contesting election, if a woman is contesting election with Ruben, you understand? Ruben will not sit back and allow the woman to defeat him. You know, because of 35%. That's my argument. Because what will he tell his wife when he gets home that a woman defeated him? So when a man is going for election with a woman, he fights more than, even 100% more than he would fight a man. Because he does not, because of the male ego. He doesn't want to be seen that a woman defeated him. So, but in terms of political appointments, it should be 50-50. And I think women should also be allowed to go out there and express themselves. The strong women should be allowed. And there are strong women. I mean, even in pain over this last process, because there are some very, very strong women that wanted to contest governorship, Senate, House of Rep, even House of Assembly. But, you know, the arrangement did not favor them.
Okay, madam.
So that's where we are today.
Well, madam, at some point in the course of this program, we're going to go to Abuja. Okay. You know, so if I interrupt you, please don't take offense.
No, that's fine.
The president is going to lay the budget before the National Assembly. But before then, look, this women business, I like the point you made that affirmative action is not enough. Many years ago, I remember women in Nigeria when we were drafting agenda for Nigerian women, you know, participation in politics and all that. I was part of all of that process. One of the things that came out of that was that you had the women themselves saying that women are their own worst enemies in Nigerian politics. Okay? Apart from the ego of men that you talked about. We have had women ministers in this country. When they put them there, they were the ones working against women. And the argument at the time also was that it's not about putting women in position. It's about ensuring that women are part of the decision-making process. So what are those practices that we need to address in specific terms beyond, you know, affirmative action, politics, and all of that?
No, I think that there's tremendous change in that today. It has improved. I think women are beginning to learn to like themselves. I think, you know, I think when I was young, when I started, the women didn't like me, but today, you know, I don't think it's because I'm old anyway, but today women are beginning to really like and support each other. In terms of pushing people forward, you know, when you're in position, at that time it wasn't easy, you know, and I really cannot talk about that, but like, I keep using my area as a case in point, and I really don't do gender politics in my area because my area is too volatile and too bad. You understand? I work with everybody in Bakassi, you know, I'm from a coastal region. I have to be 3 hours on the ocean, you know, very, very turbulent, where, you know, all the lawless people live there because they're in their own world, because those areas have not been developed, you know. So, but I don't have women, you know, and one just got a doctorate, highly intelligent, highly educated women, you know. I don't have those women that I have made them to be very, very strong, to be ready for contests. In that area, even though I'm the political leader, to produce a local government chairman was like going to war. But I did succeed. Do you understand? Because again, of the male ego I'm talking about. So I did so because I said, okay, you have to go into that boat. You have to go there to go and fight. So it's for us to encourage women to fight the issue of fear, to fight the issue of intimidation, to fight the issue of violence, because they're intimidated with violence. And, you know, give them courage. It's for the women to have courage. Otherwise, in which government of Nigeria would a woman become minister and go and sit down there and say, okay, I want to bring in 10 women? You don't even have the opportunity. So except things change, then that's where a woman can go there and engage people. But I think today I see women liking themselves. I see women supporting themselves. I'm supporting a lot of women. I'm outside here. I'm clapping. I'm pushing them on. And they are strong women. There's a girl in the House of Rep who is the whip. I know how much she would have fought to become the deputy whip of the House of Representatives. You know I was deputy minority leader in the Senate, and for me to get that position, I even had to go to court. Luckily, at that time, the Senate did not know that the court does not have jurisdiction, you understand, over Senate matters. But we had just started the experiment of that democratic system. So I had to go to court to fight to become deputy minority leader. So women should go and fight for what they want. You know, be fearless and fight for what that's what I preach. You know, when I talk about politics of inclusion, maybe you come back to that, you know, but
So let me just even expand the conversation from the politics of inclusion. People talk about things about hours where political deals are made. How a woman that has a family would definitely be excluded because those political deals are made in the middle of the night and they have family and all of that, you know. Also, people talk about money, which is a very fundamental part of the politics of inclusion. Most of it, when you see the economic power, you know, compared to the economic power of men, it's also it's a big distance apart. And money is needed. Also, violence is part of the politics of inclusion. People will say the male candidates have the monopoly of violence more than the female candidate. I mean, we saw live on TV how a female gubernatorial candidate, Natasha Akpoti, was pulled around and pushed around and called all sorts of names. That was only done to her because she was a woman. If she was a man, she would have still stood firm too. So how do we include women across those fronts?
See, politics is a very capital-intensive business. You understand? And you know, I find it difficult to talk about myself, you know, because of where I come from, like I told you. But and unfortunately, you know, we are in a country where women are not encouraged to earn income. Because if you don't have money, you cannot do politics. You understand? So it's, like I said, it's always very difficult for me to talk about gender issues because I have defied that. You understand? I look at myself as...
How did you define all of that?
It's
you know, to become what you are today, so that women can learn from you.
It's from upbringing. I'm the daughter of a journalist. You understand? Who was in Ziki's movement. So I'm the daughter of a woman who went to detention 3 times and came back and continued writing. They'll take her in the black market, take her away. She come back and write, you know, and then they arrest her again. So I grew up in that environment. You understand? I married Dele Giwa that was killed as you tell. We don't know who killed him. So you gotta be strong. You understand? When these things happen around you. So I'm coming from there. So it's difficult for me to compare myself to other women, but I do know that this is my country. I do know that I don't have any other country. I do know that if I decide today at 76 to say I want to go and be governor of my state, we go and slug it out. But I'm not, because I'm supporting a very good candidate in my state, and I'm supporting back to south with it, an understanding, you understand, of zoning. It's not legal. So I'm doing that. So I knew that as a young girl I had to work, because I don't have a political leader. I don't have a godfather. The kids are my political leaders because I am from their constituency. The kids made me, both boys and girls. So that's why it's difficult for me to play the gender card. You understand? So it's about determination. It's about saying that, you know, that, okay, I want to lead. I want to change things in my area. So I want to go out. I was also a pampered girl, the only daughter of my mom before my brother came. But, you know, I don't know if she was preparing me for what I'm doing. But I do know that I was encouraged to go out there to speak, get up and speak for yourself. Speak out, you know, don't be scared of anybody, see what I'm doing and all that. So it's difficult for me to compare myself to other Nigerian women, but I keep telling women that you have to be strong. You know, when I came out to this Lagos, I wanted to do business. You know, I had to leave, go to medical, go to Yola. I'm a medical professional. I was selling medical equipment. I had to go around, you know, selling my equipment to make my own money. Because I know that whatever I have to do, I must not compromise myself. So now, what are the opportunities? And the times have changed anyway. So in today, you know, the competition is so stiff. You understand? Everybody wants political power. You know, and there's a lot of desperation, you know, in this wanting of political power. So the men would do anything. But I don't blame them because power is not free. I'm not coming here and tell you that a man out-violence me and all that, because in my own time, I too had to learn the violence to survive because I didn't want to run back to Lagos.
So you had to learn violence?
I had to learn, yes, I had to learn.
And how to work with
of course,
violent people, thugs and the like?
I had to learn. Because I have a friend, I mentioned and apologized. If he was also a doctor, we were all in the honest and whatever. I had a chemist here, and she had a practice. And she too had made some money, went back to her home and came back. And we came back and said, he said, Auntie Flo, I'm not going back. Because I just said, I had to run. But I had and stayed there.
Okay,
so can you imagine the quality of representation that her area has been denied of? But I did not allow myself to be denied of that, you know, with all sorts of modesty, quality of representation. Because today, at 76, I'm still working. I'm still working as if I'm going for election tomorrow. I have people that I'm supporting for election and I'm still working for them to win election. I'm not contesting anymore. I've left that for the next generation. But I'm still working, you know, even for that generation, as if I'm the one going, both men and women. So it's a very, very difficult thing. But the system does not allow opportunity for women. So when you talk of inclusion, it's something that is very, very difficult, you know, to talk about.
Okay, madam. Beyond the politics of inclusion, beyond the politics of representation, you've been very actively involved in politics in Cross River State. When you are not representing the Bakassi people, you are saying maybe Governor Ayade is after you, you know, or you are having issues. Okay, or you are having issues with Agba Jalingo.
We are on the same page over this issue.
Okay.
Because he has implemented, he did not renege on his promise. He had promised us that power will come back to the South, and he encouraged that.
Okay, where do you stand today? This is a political season, 2023. We've seen a lot of drama, particularly in Akwa Ibom State. We've seen some drama also in Cross River State. Where do you stand in the politics? You say you are encouraging some people. Who are those people you are encouraging?
Well, in my state, you know, I'm at the stage of, in politics, you're laughing. You see, my own politics is that I have stages in my life and I have stages of desperation. Which also, and desperation and anger helps a lot, you know. And at that stage, you know, I come from a state where our method of transition has been the envy of Nigeria, you know, because we have the North, we have the Central and the South. You understand? And when it is like Donald started, everybody, even though Donald is from the South and they say that we are numerically weak, and of course financially weak also, but the state came together and supported Jonah and gave us the number. Jonah won. So it was also gentlemanly for us now to support Central. So Central won. Also gentlemanly to support North. And North, well, that's where Ayade, you know, who is no longer after me, who is my friend. We are no longer after each other, we are on the same page. And, you know, and I actually, at some point, because again, the men fight each other. Because each governor enjoys 2 terms, you know, 2 terms in office, you know. I think he at one point must have fallen out with his friends, you know, who backed him. And there were attempts, you know, to truncate his second term ambition. And I really had to go. I even did what I shouldn't have done because of the name I'm carrying. I had to leave one party to go back. After that, after me business. Because in anger, I had left that party. But we did reconcile, and I now got to find out that they were about to trample on me. And I don't like people trampling on people. So on my own, I left and went back to work with him. And in the course of going around the state with him to ensure that he got that second term, he had promised that now that it will come back to the south. But now, coming back to the south, there were attempts to truncate that coming back to south. So we all had to fight, and luckily Ayade is on the same page with us, and we have now succeeded. The party APC has produced, PDP could not actualize that. So APC has produced a good candidate.
As I said earlier on, we
have produced a good candidate from the south.